So we just covered a story. 61% of the country doesn't want Trump to run for election again. 71% don't want Biden to run for re-election. So these are two deeply, deeply unpopular figures. So they say 7 in 10 Americans say they do not want President Biden to run for a second term, according to a new poll that comes as Biden's approval numbers remain low and his party braces for losses this November. A Harvard Capps-Harris poll survey shared exclusively with The Hill found that 71% of respondents polled do not think Biden should run for a second term, compared to 29% who say he should run. Only 29% of the country says you should run. That is embarrassing. You're the incumbent. That's an extremely powerful position to be in. You have a leg up over everybody, and only 29% of the country is like, yeah, Biden, rock on. Among the contingent of respondents who believe the president should not run, 45% said Biden should not make another bid because he is a bad president. Oh, geez. While about 1/3 of respondents said he is too old, and about 1/4 said because it's time for a change. President Biden may want to run again, but the voters say no to the idea of a second term, panning the job he is doing as president. Only 30% of Democrats would even vote for him in a Democratic presidential primary. Wow, that's a very, very small number. But a majority of respondents, 61%, also say former President Trump should not run for the White House in 2024. 39% of respondents said the former president should run again. So look, I remember back during the 2016 election, Hillary versus Trump, I remember looking at the poll numbers going, I've never seen two more hated candidates in my entire life. I mean, they made it through their primaries, right? Or by hook or by crook, they made it through their primaries. And then the polls were like, they both had a majority. They were both majority disliked even on election day. And I was like, this is unheard of. Well, now it's gotten worse and worse and worse since then. Which shows you, the status quo is despised. And it's amazing we're in a situation where 61% say Trump don't run, 71% say Biden don't run, and they're both the favorite to run again. That's the favorite to be in the general election. That's astonishing to me, man. It really is. It really is. A majority of those polled said they would consider a moderate independent candidate should Biden and Trump square off against each other in 2024, including majorities of both Republicans and Democrats polled. 60% said they would consider a moderate independent candidate for president if Biden and Trump ended up running against each other in the next presidential cycle, compared to 40% who said they would not consider it. So let's talk about this for a second. This is an important number. See, Andrew Yang reads this with his forward party, and he's like, yummy in my tummy. I'm going to make this happen. Now, I think it's very possible that Mark Cuban runs as an independent and part of the forward party with Andrew Yang. That's definitely possible. And he is in a position. It is a unique position in history where the status quo is so despised that he can do okay. But we've seen this happen before in American history. In the 1990s, Ross Perot ran as an independent. Ross Perot was very wealthy. He was a billionaire. He did the best of any independent candidate in history. And he got less than 20% of the vote. I don't remember if it was 13% or 19%. It was somewhere in that realm. And he won 0 electoral college votes. So I think a similar thing would happen if Mark Cuban ran or somebody ran with the forward party. People say, oh yeah, I'll vote for the independent or I'll vote for the third party person. And then they never do. Now, some of that is because of just flat out rigging against third party candidates and independent candidates, of course. But it's not all that. It's not all that. And 60% say they do it, but when push comes to shove, the teams sort of fall in line, man. The negative partisanship sort of kicks in. And so look, hear me now, quote me later. We could test what I say. If an independent candidate runs, or a forward party candidate or whatever runs, if that happens, my guess is they'll get in the ballpark of 5% to 20% and win like no electoral college votes, maybe a handful of electoral college votes. But even that, like, they've now rigged it even more so that you can't really get on the stage as an independent during the debate. So even that might not happen. So again, we'll have to see, but point is, the polls never line up with the reality on this stuff. Negative partisanship kicks in and people sort of fall in line. And I don't like that. I wish we had a different system, but we don't. And I'm just saying what's likely going to happen as we move forward. Broken down by party, 53% of Republicans polled and 64% of Democrats said they would consider a moderate independent candidate in that situation. But another point to make real quick is when people say, oh, I like moderates and I like independents, they don't really know what that means. They don't actually want somebody in between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party and their positions. They don't want that at all. The polls show people actually want what's generally viewed as progressive policy. They want to raise the minimum wage. They want to end the wars. They want to tax the rich, etc. The list goes on. They want to legalize marijuana. They want abortion to be legal. So they have more left-wing views, but they like the label of moderate or independent, which I understand. I get that. But I just wanted to point that out because it's a little misleading to talk about it as if people genuinely want something right in between the insane Republicans and the half-insane Democrats. All right, anyway, you guys get the gist of it. The old guard in the parties is on the ropes, but at the same time, they have such an institutional advantage and so much big money and corporate money props them up. It almost doesn't matter. Like, that's how broken the system is. That Congress always has an approval rating of like 15%. And they keep getting reelected. Same people keep getting reelected. For the presidential race now, from, 2016 and onwards, it's like, we despise these people who we just voted for. And then one of those people wins. So, I wish that wasn't the case. They should change the system. I would love it if we had ranked choice voting and if we had viable third parties and independents, etc. But right now, it's like, we're in hell, and I think that will be borne out in the near future. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.